What's up, guys? It's Alex at Tailwater Fly Shop. Not every company that makes high-end spinning rods should make a high-end fly rod, but there's some that should. All right, so I'm here with the all-new St. Croix Evos saltwater fly rod. This is an 11 weight, and when I opened up the tube and pulled this rod out for the first time, my first impressions were very different than what I expected, okay? Last St. Croix fly rod that we were really familiar with, or when they introduced something new, was the Soul rod, and it was extremely gimmicky, okay? It was a royal blue blank. It was a two-piece rod that just had a replaceable tip section and basically had a spinning reel seat, okay? Maybe the ugliest fly rod that's ever been made. So when I pulled this out, I was extremely pleased and extremely happy to see just a classic look. Nothing crazy with the grip, nothing crazy with the butt, nothing crazy with the reel seat, and it is an extremely nice and pleasant dark blue rod blank, which for me, if a rod isn't going to be matte black, like a Loomis, I really like this dark blue with just the silver accents on it. And it does. I mean, I gave it to one of the guys that works here today and just said, hey, look at this. He pulled it out of the sleeve and he goes, wow, that looks really nice. And it's just one of those, you can tell how high quality the cork is. You can tell how high quality the components are. And like I said, it's a $1,000 rod, but it is made in the USA. And that cannot be said for every $1,000 rod that we have now. The other thing that I noticed about this rod that was kind of Sage-esque is how thin this blank looks for being an 11 weight. I've always said I feel like Sage rods look a lot thinner than what the weight is, and I felt that with this 11 weight and with the 8 weight that I threw. I felt like the blank looked extremely thin, which to me a lot of times means a lot of weight in the middle. All right, a lot of these thin blank rods get kind of heavy in the middle. This rod does not, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we're casting. This rod is packed full of features that I can talk about, I can get into, but the things that get me going and things that get me excited about rods aren't necessarily technology talk. Yes, I know technology is what breeds performance and feel and all the things that I'm going to talk about, but there is a key feature to this rod that I would like to talk about. So aside from the componentry, which is what you should expect in a rod of this price and of this caliber, this rod's $1,025, okay? This is the 11 weight. They're available in 6 through 12, and they're all $1,025. Anodized aluminum up and locking reel seat, an extremely, one of the best, nicest cork grips I've found, an extremely pleasant, like dark blue blank on this, 2 Cerakoil stripping guides, and then you get up into your recoil snake guides. Classic, what you should expect in a $1,000 saltwater fly rod. One thing though that this has, okay, and this is what gives it the performance, the accuracy that we're going to talk about, is its graphene technology, okay? What is graphene technology? I don't really know exactly, but what it does is it lets them control, here's what I do know, it lets them control the blank in little tiny increments, so they can make this rod feel exactly the way that they want to, not just from piece to piece, but from little spot to little spot, inch by inch. They can control the feel and the stiffness of this rod. St. Croix is a company obviously known for their spin and conventional rods, okay? They make some of the best spin and conventional rods on earth. So for St. Croix to enter the 1,000+ saltwater fly rod market, it's a bold move. But here's what I will say about it. These are made in the USA. They're very high quality. St. Croix is a company that has an extremely good reputation for their build quality, for their warranty, and all of those things. And for somebody that was very skeptical when I heard about this rod, and as you guys that watch the channel know, somebody that is a huge G. Loomis fan, I was extremely skeptical, but then I got to cast this rod, and I must say we are definitely believers here. So I talked a little bit about the graphene, okay? One of the reasons that that's important is because throughout the line of 6 through 11 weight, you don't necessarily want the rod to feel the exact same. Okay, an 11 weight is going to be doing something and used for something completely different than a 7 or an 8 weight is going to be used for, and the needs are different. But one of the things that I like is they still have a consistent feel and a consistent thing across the line. All right, this 11 weight is something that I'm extremely excited to go cast again. I have cast it, but for me, feel and recovery are the two most important things about when I pick up a fly rod, which is why I've historically been a fan of one-piece fly rods, okay? But we're gonna go cast this. I'm gonna tell you about how it feels and tell you if I think that this has really got a shot in this really competitive market. All right, so we're out here casting now, and I will say this, first impression. I cast this rod yesterday, and I was excited to come out and cast it again today. That's how awesome the feel on this thing is. So when you give it the old wiggle test inside, it kind of feels a little bit similar to a Sage, to the Salt R8, and a lot of similarities to how those feel, to how those look. And that's a rod that I really enjoy casting. But this is like, what I really like about this is it just feels, this is an 11 weight, like I said. It's just so easy to cast and get out there. I mean, this is, one pick up and go. I mean, this is a 90-foot fly line, and there's what, I don't know, 8 or 9 feet of line back on the reel, and it was as easy as it gets. And so the other thing that I really noticed about this rod is there's a lot of rods that are more accurate than others, maybe. Some of the more accurate rods that I've thrown are like an Orvis Helios or a G. Loomis Asquith. And this has a ton of accuracy. It's extremely stable, holds the loops extremely nice. You don't get that curling at the end that you do with some rods. And the recovery on it, when you give it like a shake test inside, the tip just stops so fast. And for me, if you know what I like in feel, you know that I really like light, fast, and crisp. And this isn't, it's funny, like when you're actually casting it, it doesn't feel, or wiggling it, it doesn't feel as fast as maybe something like a Sage Igniter or a G. Loomis NRX or a new Hardy Marksman Z. But when you cast it, it feels just as fast because of how quick the recovery is and just how much power it is. I mean, I don't know if you can get some of this, but it's just pick up from 60 feet. I mean, it's just effortless loops. Yeah, I mean, if you see, like, I'm at 60 feet probably out right now, just one pickup. I mean, it's just an effortless loop. And this is a rod I'm actually, again, not a big 4-piece rod guy, but this is a rod that I'm looking forward to pulling on tarpon with and just casting a fly to tarpon with. So gosh, I mean, just the accuracy at this distance is awesome. Now, the other thing though is really short. Like, I don't like to set up targets because some days you cast better than others, but I can just tell how stable this is. And, even just short shots with this, yeah, I mean, it's still, you can feel it load. So this is my favorite fly line that I have on here. This is the Orvis Tropic Plus. And this is the 11 weight, so it's not overlined at all. It's a true grain weight, a little bit shorter head though. And I mean, you can get serious line speed even there. And even if you wanted to had to keep it low, I mean, it's just an extremely, extremely impressive rod and really checks all the boxes in terms of feel for a rod that costs this much. Again, when I say that, I'm not saying that a $1,000 fly rod is worth $1,000 or that you should spend $1,000 on a fly rod. What I'm saying is this price of rod, you expect a certain feel to when you cast it, and I would say that passes the test. Again, a company that maybe I was skeptical about entering this high-end fly rod market, I think has really knocked it out of the park with this rod. So if you're in the market for a new high-end saltwater fly rod, don't let that scare you. because all that means is made in the USA and super high quality. You need to just come throw it. All right, guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let us know if there's anything else you want to see.